Before I get into the video, I'd like to say that just because I'm worried about this new development doesn't mean I think the Elder Scrolls 6 is for sure gonna be bad or anything like that. It's definitely possible that I'm being paranoid about nothing and things will turn out fine. Nonetheless, recently Todd Howard confirmed that Bethesda Game Studios is working on two major projects that are gonna come out before the Elder Scrolls 6 does. I'll leave a link in the description to a news article covering this development in case you guys want to learn more about it. From what we can tell, these two projects are perhaps not on the same magnitude as Elder Scrolls or Fallout, but they do seem to be of a pretty big scope. And while I'm certainly excited for these two games, I'm also a bit afraid that they're going to end up affecting not only the Elder Scrolls 6 negatively, but potentially Bethesda's games as a whole over the next few years. So let me go ahead and tell you guys exactly why I think this could be bad. First, and this is definitely the less concerning of the two reasons, it means that the Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out even later than we initially thought. I'm fine with waiting for the game, but at the same time, it's natural to feel a little bit of frustration and disappointment as an Elder Scrolls fan. It has been 5 years already since Skyrim, so having to wait even longer, while not the end of the world, is still kinda shitty. Before this announcement, I personally thought the most likely period for the Elder Scrolls 6 to come out was anywhere between 2017 and 2019, but now it looks like the earliest we'll get it is around 2020. Of those two projects, neither seem to be coming out this year, meaning they'll need at least 2 years on top of this year to get those two games out. This means the two projects Todd Howard mentioned will be finished and done with by 2018 at the earliest, and from there Bethesda is realistically gonna need at least 2 more years to develop the Elder Scrolls 6, meaning the best case release date is 2020. The thing is, I was pretty generous with a lot of those assumptions, and more practically, a 2022 or even 2023 release date seems more likely at this point. If the Elder Scrolls 6 is actually coming out in 2022, that means an 11-year wait since Skyrim, which is pushing the line on a reasonable wait time between games. Once again, I love Bethesda, and I'm gonna play their games no matter what, but that doesn't mean I'm not a bit disappointed. Another issue I have with the delayed release date is that when you have too long of a break between games, it can result in unreal expectations. With franchises as big as Elder Scrolls and Fallout, the longer you wait to release the game, the more the hype builds up for it, and then when you finally announce the game, it results in a whirlwind of excitement, which can lead to unreal expectations. This is basically exactly what happened to Fallout 4, and I think perhaps one of the many reasons why some were disappointed by Fallout 4 is because of unreal expectations generated by a 7-year gap between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. The second and far more pressing issue is Bethesda Game Studios is a very small company, and yet they seem to be taking on 3 very big projects at the same time. Granted, Bethesda is probably going to be paying attention to certain projects more at certain times, but they're still going to be juggling certain aspects from all 3 projects simultaneously, which is worrisome for a small studio. Bethesda did expand recently by opening up a branch in Montreal, but that office only has around 30 to 40 employees, putting them at around 130 to 140 total employees. Compare this to the 1,000-man team that developed Assassin's Creed 4, and you guys will hopefully see what I'm trying to get at. Bethesda was already a small studio to start with, but on top of that, they virtually tripled their workload by taking on 3 projects at the same time, and their staff has only increased by about 30%. My biggest fear is that Bethesda will take on more than it can handle, and this will result in not only the Elder Scrolls 6, but all 3 of these games being mediocre. I personally would rather have a single amazing game than 3 below average or even average games. Bethesda Game Studios has always focused on quality over quantity, yet this recent development seems to indicate otherwise. I've seen so many great franchises fall prey to this trap and start focusing too much on quantity, so I guess I'm just afraid Bethesda is falling into the same trap. Bethesda isn't like most developers though, so I do have some faith in them, and it's very possible that all this worry is for nothing. Well, alright folks, that is pretty much gonna do it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop me a like down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Bethesda Game Studios games in the future. And of course, be sure to let me know your own thoughts on all this news. Do you think it's perhaps not so bad as I'm making it out to be, or do you agree with me for the most part? Otherwise, I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.